Hello, hello. Welcome back to Let's Talk Ray Bradbury. If you have not subscribed to our channel, please do. So we are about to wrap up this project. We've been reviewing the collection Bradbury stories. We are down to story number 98 out of 100. I'm going to finish those up this week, and then I will follow up with my next review, which will be of this novel, Into Darkness by Terry Goodkind. I have a few other stories to catch up on after that, and then we will be on into Let's Talk Clive Barker. We're going to do all of his short stories as reviews as we get into the fall season, appropriate very much for Halloween. But for today, we're looking at Last Rites. In this tale, a 39-year-old inventor, must be he's at the point of life, kind of midlife almost, where he's questioning things, but he wakes up one morning crying. He doesn't really understand why. But it seems like he's lacking some sort of purpose in his life. But as it turns out, he's invented a time machine, and that time machine needs a purpose. What do you do with a time machine? Seems like a great thing to invent, but of course you got to be careful with what you tamper with. But he stumbles on the idea of traveling back in time to visit authors on their deathbed and to give them solace and reassurance about their future and about their legacy. So he visits Melville and Poe, and the story hints that he may have next been traveling to visit Oscar Wilde. It just says Oscar, but I assume it's Oscar Wilde. Anyhow, he gets to their deathbeds. He shows them copies of their works that have been printed as far as a century or more into the future after their deaths, and basically assures them that although they're dying, they're in fact immortal, and that their work will be loved and remembered and honored and shared forever, regardless of how they were received in their lifetime. It's a cute little story, not a lot of meat on the bones, but it is an interesting way to use a time machine, I should say. Time machine stories are very easy to be cliched. You go back in time, you screw something up, you try to fix it, makes things worse. But here, there's none of that. There's very little fear of messing up the space-time continuum, because he's basically showing these books to these men as they die and then moving on to the next author. It's interesting also in the fact that, authors are notoriously sensitive people, and depression and alcoholism and all of these things seem to plague authors, at least historically somewhat, but also it's a bit of a cliche as well. And so they're definitely the type of people who are concerned with these things, and they want to know that they're sort of the sacrifice, the hours of hard work alone in their offices has some value, and that people get value from the things in which they poured their heart out into for many years in life, trying to make these creations, and just to know that what they've done matters. I think that is the reward, not so much the monetary gains and the accolades. It's just like, is my work going to survive? So I have to wonder, in this story, or with this story, was Bradbury thinking about his own legacy? He's had his share of accolades. He's not that underground, really, maybe not quite fully accepted, except for in rare occasions, by the literary community, but he made a living, but he certainly must wonder, are any of my stories and my novels going to make it into the sort of the lasting canon of Western literature? And I think the answer to that is most definitely yes. Fahrenheit 451 is definitely going to make it. Stories like There Will Come Soft Rains and The Veldt have already made it into a lot of sort of academic anthologies, and of course I'm still reading it here, and there's others like me sharing these stories on YouTube. So I think his legacy is very much likely to be a strong one, and I'm hoping that it actually grows with time, as sometimes does occur. But yeah, guys, Last Rites by Ray Bradbury, story number 98 of 100 in Bradbury Stories. We'll be back tomorrow or Wednesday with The Watchful Poker Chip of H. Matisse. Tune in to see what that is all about. And then we will follow that up with the final story in the collection, which is All on a Summer's Night. So coming to a close with the Bradbury collection. But we've got plenty more books and stories to talk about here. Very Good Kind Into Darkness, The Killer Angels, my sister's second novel in a trilogy, and of course, the aforementioned Clive Barker. So I look forward to sharing all of these works of literature with you. I hope you will subscribe. If you have something constructive to say, feel free to drop it in the comment section below. And of course, always give my videos thumbs up, because that helps with the search engine, with the, what do you call it, the algorithm. All right, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon.